Today we will be reading a few stories from r/confessions. Enjoy. I love her but some things just don't add up. My wife and I love each other. But weird stuff happens. Last month she was going to go to her grandparents' house with her family to bury her grandfather. The night before they leave, she stayed at her mom's for the night. She forgot her luggage at our place, so I went to go drop it off at her mom's house for her. On the way over there she texted me saying that she was going for a walk to smoke a doobie. Mom doesn't approve. When I got to her mom's house, her brother said that her mom just went to drop her off at Shoppers Drug Mart for some reason. A few minutes later mom pulls in the driveway and says she just dropped my wife off at Shoppers to meet me. So I started calling her and texting her. No answer even though she was seeing the texts. I'm wondering where she is and why she lied about where she was. She wouldn't give me an answer, just that she is at a friend's. The next day she gets me to pick her up walking down 2nd Ave after staying the night at her friend's. Why she had to have a shower first and why I couldn't just pick her up there causes me to question her. I just keep my eye on things for a while. Last night we are sitting on the couch watching a movie, her phone goes off a few times and she ignores it, then it rings and she whoops it around her side where I can't see it and ends that call. I asked who was calling her at this hour, 11:30 at night, and she says nobody. I don't know. Then her phone blows up, and I ask who it is and she just says it's her sisters messaging her on Instagram. Her sisters usually talk to her on Facebook. She has a bunch of group chats set up with them. I thought that was odd, so I just asked if I could see. She got mad and super defensive and would not show me her phone, instead saying I was an asshole for not trusting her. She can see my phone whenever she wants. There is nothing on there that I feel I need to hide from her. Now I am starting to feel like I can't trust her and I fucking hate it. I've realized I can get my husband to do more housework by dominating him sexually. We've been exploring some kinks of his and one of them is me being dominating in the bedroom. I've noticed as I get more bold and tease him more, he's started doing more around the house, like picking up groceries, making dinner, even the laundry, which is usually my job. It's nice and it's fun. I am homeless and bumped into my boss and his family at a popular camping spot, so I lied and said I was on a camping trip. My mom is a drug/alcohol addict and has been abusive for a very long time. I don't remember exactly when it started, but my dad died when I was 13. She rages all the time, especially when she is drunk/high, which happens all the time. I would try to stay out of her way, but she would always find a reason to get mad. She would get extra angry when I did not want to give her money. I got a job after high school so I could help with bills and food, but she also wanted me to fund her addictions. I did not want to because I did not want to enable her. She would also have a different guy over almost every day. This weekend she was on one of her rages and her guy of the day was also there. They were both obviously very high and kept shouting at me and trashing my room because I said I did not have any money. They ended up kicking me out and I did not even fight. It only dawned upon me afterwards that I was screwed. I am introverted and never really had friends, so I ended up deciding to spend the money I had left from my last check on camping gear because it would not be enough for a motel. I convinced myself that this is one big adventure and I would try be as positive as I can. I went to a popular camping spot because I felt it would be safer, and what do you know? I bumped into my boss and his family. He is a very professional and scary guy at work, but he was so nice. He introduced me and even invited me to have dinner with them. I obviously agreed because at this point I was starving, and they even let me charge my phone so that my mom does not worry. I had a really good time with them, and when they left they offered to drive me home, but I refused, saying my mom would pick me up. It was pretty hard seeing a normal family and how they interacted with each other. I am not ashamed to admit that I cried after they left. I will however be grateful that at least I have a job and I will show up every day no matter what. My whole marriage has been a lie. So I've been married over a year and just found my husband's secret Snapchat with tons of OnlyFans girls etc., and I feel at my all-time low. This isn't the first time he's done something like this. He also had an extra TikTok account following exclusively provocative women. Apparently he's had this Snapchat for years and would receive explicit pictures and videos and even send women messages. I wanna curl up and die. I don't feel attractive. I just gave birth a year ago and I'm in the process of a weight loss journey that hasn't been easy. I don't think I can ever trust him again or be intimate with him. I currently hate him and he doesn't even really seem sorry. I never knew who he was. Just lost my virginity to a prostitute. So a few hours ago, I went to a street where there are prostitutes. I had been planning this for a while because I wanted to lose my virginity before I turned 20. Anyway, I walk for a while on the street and then I stumble upon this girl who looked quite pretty. I ask her the price and I accept. We go up to the room, which was quite nasty, but I proceeded anyway. At this moment, I am nervous as hell, but I managed to calm my nerves as best as I could. I am not going to go into details of what happened, but I am just gonna say it went okay for my first time. It was weird because it felt mechanical, but I guess I enjoyed it. Honestly, I don't know how to feel. I feel a little guilty, but on the other hand, I feel proud of myself because I am an anxious person who is afraid to try new things. My partner and I make the most disgusting, racist, sexist, immoral jokes in private. You know how sometimes you have an intrusive thought that you know is wrong? Something so reprehensible and politically incorrect you would never dare say it out loud? My partner and I say this shit out loud to each other in private. I don't think I can even repeat any of it here as my post would be auto-banned. An example I might not be banned for is, we're an interracial couple, I'm black and he's white, and we'll often make jokes about that. Like he'll ask me a favor and I'll say, "Oh yes master, right away master," in a southern accent. Basically imitating a slave on an American southern plantation. Just typing that out makes me feel guilty. Still, I wonder if other people make jokes like this with people they're close to, or if we're just terrible people. Recently found out that my mom was sleeping with my ex through our entire relationship. I, 22 female. Recently moved across the country. I moved for school and work. Now that I've moved, I have become significantly closer with my dad. He and my mom have been divorced since the summer between my sophomore and junior year of high school. A few days ago while on the phone with my dad, I randomly asked him why he and my mom got divorced. My mom would never tell me and my dad always said he'd tell me when I was ready. His answer threw me off. My freshman year of high school I started dating this boy from church. I was 14 and he was 17. My dad was weird about this at first because of our ages but really liked this guy and his family, so agreed to let us hang out outside of church as long as it was completely supervised. My dad worked over the road, so a lot of the time we hung out was supervised by my mom, who never cared if my room door was closed. She always insisted on taking him home without me. I always thought it was weird, but she'd always come up with crazy excuses as to why I couldn't go. We were together for about a year and a half when my mom told me that we were moving. She took my phone, siblings' phones, and any electronic that we might have access to. We moved a few hours away and I was heartbroken. I couldn't even tell him that I was moving. I literally had to pack my bags and leave. My mom blocked him and his family from all of my accounts, and I thought this entire time that he had blocked me. I always felt like I couldn't ever attempt to reach out because I had hurt him so much. It sounds stupid because that was almost 8 years ago. But he was my first everything. My first kiss, my first love. I lost my virginity to him. I cried myself to sleep every night for months. I couldn't even think about dating anyone else for about a year. When I finally started dating again, I would unintentionally compare every single guy to him. He was very significant to me. Up until a few days ago I would often think about him and wonder how he was doing. Back to asking my dad about the divorce. He asked if I was home and ready. I thought that it really couldn't be that bad. But when he told me that my mom had been sleeping with my ex for the entirety of our relationship, the full year and a half of our relationship, even when he was 17, that's why she would take him home every time. That's why she would allow him over so often. We had to move because his father found his journal stating everything that had happened with my mom and was pressing charges against my mom for statutory rape. I acted fine on the phone and basically said, "Whoa, I had no idea, that's crazy, I would have divorced her too" type of stuff, and eventually ended the call. I felt that this couldn't possibly be true. I made a scrap Instagram account and added him. Messaged him and bluntly asked. I asked him not to make excuses or anything, I just needed a yes or no as to if it happened. When he said yes, I felt like I went numb. I deleted that account. Deleted my Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, everything. I told my mom that I'm working through some stuff and I needed some distance from her. I am beyond hurt and disgusted. I've thought about this guy at least once every single day. Was our entire relationship a lie? Was it all an excuse just to see her? Did he even love me? I'm just lost. It sounds stupid. It sounds ridiculous. But I'm thrown. I feel angry and extremely betrayed by everyone. Is this stupid for me to feel like this? It's a relationship from forever ago. But it was so significant to me. I can't even get started on how I feel about my mom at the moment. I'm lost. Update: thank you to everyone who's been so caring and concerned with my mental health. I really do appreciate it. After reading many of the comments, I decided I needing things from his perspective. I didn't want to ask my mom because she is the type of person to make excuses. From what he told me, he came on to her. He originally asked me out because he wanted to get with her. He said that after he had already been coming over for a month is when he decided to start flirting with her and let her know that he was interested. He said that it didn't become sexual until he turned 18, even though the age of consent in that state is 17. His father wanted to press charges but couldn't, considering it was legal. We had a small car and I am the oldest of 4 kids. We couldn't all fit when my mom would take him home, so I had to stay behind to watch them. It really did make sense at the time. I wasn't concerned at all. Obviously my mom is the main person to blame here, but my mom is just a shitty human being in general. I learned that a few years ago. I honestly wasn't surprised that my mom would do something like this to me. I do have a ton of anger towards her and a lot to unpack with her. But the reason I'm writing this so focused on my ex is because I held him up so high. I often would think about how crazy it'd be if we crossed paths again and got back together. I was madly in love with this boy and I'm finding out it's all a lie. In the last few years, I've learned to not be surprised by how much my mom can hurt me. I used to be a violent gang member. I used to be a horrible person. I was a violent gang member and drug dealer that didn't really care about anything except my family and my money. I had no remorse for anything I did. I've been involved in shootings, stabbings and armed robberies of rival gang members. Violence was the only way problems were solved. I never left the house without a knife or gun, even if I was just going to the shop. I've had my house raided by police twice, I've been home invaded and held at knife point, had my head stamped on, been stabbed and shot at. About a year and a half ago I decided to leave that life behind, for myself and my family, especially my daughter. I moved across the country for a fresh start. Within 2 months of leaving, one of my friends was killed. He was 19. Within another few months, another friend died. By then I was already struggling with my mental health, guilt, anxiety, depression, PTSD, nightmares. I started taking Xanax, Percocet and Valium to try to block everything out and so I could get a few hours sleep at night. I knew I wanted to be a better person, but I needed help to do that. I got myself into counseling and drug counseling for the pills I was taking. It was horrible. For once I actually had to confront my problems instead of just blocking them out. I was having seizures a few times a day from withdrawals from the pills, but I didn't let anything stop me from becoming a better person, the person I wanted to be. My life now is pretty boring, but I'm nothing like the person I used to be. I'm sticking with my therapy, haven't done any pills in months. I'm repairing relationships with my family and becoming a better person with every passing day. I will never go back to that lifestyle. I know this won't apply to many people who may come across this post, But if you've been considering the gang life, thinking it's cool or easy money, it's not. It's nothing like the music videos, movies or TV shows. It's a life filled with violence, pain, regret and a lot of the time, death. Stay in school, live a normal life and be happy. Thank you for reading my post. It feels good to tell my story and get some stuff off my chest. I pretend I'm not listening. I pretend to leave the room and play games when my husband is gaming. He sings when he games, and it's my favorite thing to listen to. Even though he isn't the best singer, I love the sound of his voice. It soothes me. So I sneak down the hall or pretend to sleep on the floor or the couch while he games just so I can listen to him sing. It may be kinda stupid but it's the little things that does it for me. I was kidnapped when I was 8 and held in captivity for 3 years. 26 female. I was picked up by a stranger from school posing to be my dad's friend, saying that he would drop me off to the airport to catch a flight with my dad. Not only did I actually have to travel with my dad that day, but this man somehow knew my dad was getting off early from work. He told me that morning, and that he had to go fishing with his friend. He did this a lot. He told me that my dad sent him to pick me up and meet him directly at the airport. I believed him, convinced my teachers I knew him, because I was excited to go the airport, and left with him. I was held in captivity for 3 years. I was raped, beaten, starved. 11-year-old me had learnt to make him trust me. It started with us going around in his car, although I had to sit in the back seat and stay quiet the whole time. He let me come into his kitchen and make food for myself. He let me clean his house. The day we went to feed the ducks at the park I ran. I ran as fast as my weak legs could carry me. Because of the crowd, I think he lost me. I begged the family for help, telling them I was kidnapped and I wanted to go home. I told them my name, my school's name and my parents' names. Long story short, they caught him. He killed himself. I was back with my dad, my sisters, my dogs. I'm now happily married to my wife of 4 years, still undergoing therapy, have a good job, and a baby on the way. Edit, I'm very sorry for the last line. I realize it doesn't end well for most and I got lucky. But the only way I kept going was telling myself I'm going to escape, and then I'm going to get better, I'm going to love myself again, I'm going to get past my trauma. Since this worked for me, I assumed saying it will end well would work for other people too. Of course it wasn't right though. The woman I married is not the woman I have loved the most. I have been with my wife for 14 years. She is an amazing spouse, partner, and mother. She is a great woman and I'm happy with the beautiful family we've made. That being said, my one true love is a woman I was with right before I met my wife. This woman and I dated for 3 years. She changed my life with her love. She introduced me to so much. When we were together everything was electric. I could listen to her talk for hours and just enthralled by her. She was the only person I trusted enough to pour my heart out to. Even my wife I can't do this with. She was my perfect match. Compatible in every way. No one has made me laugh like her, made me feel pure unadulterated happiness as her, and I have never been with a lover that I have felt as physically and emotionally connected as her. If there are soulmates, she was mine. In the short time we were together we planned out our lives together forever. Unfortunately, she needed to leave the country. Her parents were in an accident, killing her father and leaving her mother in need of care. I was serving military commitment fresh out of college and I couldn't go with her. We tried to make it work, but when it became clear we wouldn't be together for another 3 years, she became more withdrawn after the accident and resented me for not being able to be with her. I could feel the separation was slowly destroying us, so I set her free. It broke me, but it seemed like the best thing for both of us. I don't think I'll ever forget our time together. As much as I love my wife, I know the love between us is not as real as me and my ex's love. I married my wife out of convenience and I grew to love her. A few years back I got into contact with my ex again. She is married too with kids, but she has also never forgotten and is still in love with me and wishes things could have been different. We talk sometimes, nothing is ever inappropriate. I of course would choose my wife and family over her any time, but if I saw her in person again, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be worried something inappropriate might happen.